Hi everyone, welcome to Singing Tips. I'm Lois Johnston and I'm a professional singer and teacher, and I've been doing it all my life. And I'm extremely excited today because it is officially Messiah season, and I've got some tips for a chorus for you because many of you sing in choirs, and Messiah is that incredible benchmark. If you're lucky enough to sing with a choir that does Messiah every year at Christmas time or possibly Easter, usually Christmas these days, it's a great benchmark of testing your own progress and how far you've come as a singer in the last year, and testing out some of those things that maybe were difficult last year and you find easier this year. So it's a great celebration not only of Christmas but of your own vocal improvement and ability. So I've chosen and He Shall Purify as the chorus for today. I've got 5 tips to give you, and I chose this one because the tips that I'm going to give you are relevant to each part, so everybody has the same material in slightly different ways, so the tips apply to each part, and as usual the 5th tip, stay tuned for the end, is the real creme de la creme, because it will really help you with those high notes. The thing with Messiah is it's set really high for most of the voices, so there are lots of things that I can help you with today. So we're going to get right into it. The first tip is breathe early. This applies to all of the parts. The thing with this chorus, oh, and I should have said I'm using the Watkins Shaw edition, so I have both numbers for the sections and bar numbers, so I will try and give you both of those so that you know exactly where I'm up to. So the first entry, sopranos, all you hear is, and then you start singing, and what always happens is we all wait, then we take the breath, and we sound like strangled chickens when we actually come in with that first entry. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn to, when your conductor starts to give the upbeat, you're already breathing. 1, 2, and he. So you've actually got time to prepare that first entry. If you're breathing and, you're great. If you wait till and, you're all in a rush and you're not going to have a very nice vowel to the note. You want a really nice R vowel on there. So we're going to have breathing 1, 2, and he shall purify. So breathing at least on the conductor's upbeat for that very first entry, and then you'll be settled for the whole of that entry. Now that then applies immediately afterwards to the basses. They've got exactly the same thing. So it's the same thing. Don't leave it until you're about to sing, and breathe on beat 1. And he shall purify. Same thing then applies to the alto. So now I am in bar 7, 8, 9. And he shall purify. And then finally, last but not least, the tenors. This one's different because your entry is a different iteration of the tune, but the same rule applies. Breathe at least at beat 3. And he shall purify. I actually breathed on beat 1 because I just know that that sets me up really well, but as long as you don't leave it till after beat 3. And he shall purify. And so on that chorus goes. So every single time you have one of those entries that comes in partially through the bar, breathe right at the very beginning of the bar as soon as you possibly can, so that you don't have a strangled, rushed sounding entry. Then tip number 2 is accents on the semiquavers. Now these help you to orientate yourself when you're singing a run with lots of semiquavers in it. So if you put an accent, just a tiny little accent, on beats 1 and beats 3 of every bar, so this chorus is in 4/4, That will just help to orientate you so that you don't get lost in the bar, and it just gives those semiquaver passages really nice shape. So I'll demonstrate with the soprano first entry to begin. I'm just marking my accents now. This probably isn't the best entry to demonstrate this, but you'll get the idea. So I'm going straight into bar 3, which is where the first set of semiquavers starts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And he shall purify. So just a little accent on beats 1 and beats 3 when you have those semiquaver passages. So in this case, it was beat 3 of bar 3 and then beat 1 of bar 4. That then applies to the basses. So if we look at bar 5, so they have, and he shall purify, and he shall purify, and so on and so forth. Now I ran out of breath, and that's because this actually crosses over with another tip. So the other tip, once you've organized your accents, is you can, this is tip 3 by the way, you can drop a syllable or drop 2 semiquavers anywhere in a chorus when you have enough cover around you. So if you're singing this 2 voices to a part, it's really hard to take a staggered breath anywhere. However, when you're singing in a nice big chorus, provided you plan it with your neighbours at either side and you don't breathe in the same place, you can actually drop a syllable and take a breath and nobody will know. And then it just means that you're not in a panic when you do get to the next breath and you're not taking an enormous and then late for the next entry, which is what tends to happen. So if we just look at that bass entry, you'll see that I've marked 2 semiquavers out of bar 8. And that's going to allow me to take a breath and then hopefully not run out of breath as I just did. So here we go. If I go from and he shall purify going into bar 7, where am I? Ah, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he shall purify the sons of Levi over the page turn. So that was how I did that, just taking out those 2 semiquavers, the second half of beat 3 of bar 8. Let's try that again. I'll see if I can do a tidier job for you this time. 1, 2. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. So that was taking a couple of semiquavers out for in the bass part there. Tenors, let's look at your entry going into letter A. So this is bar 10. So that one I have taken out in bar 10, 11, 12. I've taken out the 3rd and 4th semiquavers out of that bar. So I've just marked them in brackets just to remind me that that's where I'm going to take my breath. I'll also do the little accents on beats 3 and beats 1. 1, 2. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. And a bonus tip there is, you'll have noticed with the sons of Levi, attach the S to the word of. Otherwise it will be early and you'll get a really muddy S. So that's almost a little bonus tip, I suppose. No, it is a tip. definitely. Tip 4, that was. Leave your S's late. I'm just going to do that entry again. So this is tenor entry going into letter A. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. So that was a bit of tip 2, 3, and 4, all smooshed into one entry. That's why Messiah is so great. You get to practice all these amazing things. Next entry, I'm just going to do the soprano entry at bar 13. So this is all about the accents, because that's a nice long semiquaver run. And I'm just going to tell you that I've taken out in bar 17, in the second group of semiquavers, I've taken out the final 2 semiquavers. So the second part of beat 2 of semiquavers I've taken out for my breath. That's what I've marked anyway, so that's what I will attempt to do. So breathing early. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. So that was that just makes that run so much more doable to me if I know that I've got that place to take a breath. And again, just check with your neighbours, make sure that they're not going to take their breaths in the same place, otherwise you get a hole in the texture. But if you can plan with your neighbours that they're going to take their breath the bar earlier or the bar later, then nobody will even know. It will just be completely seamless. This is like the elite form of staggered breathing, if you like. I'll just do that one again for you. So it's breathing early. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. And again, sons of, leave the S late. So that was a little bit of tip 4 in there, as well as tip 3 and tip 2. Okay, next biggie is for the basses, and this is bar 26. And what I've done here is, this is a long entry for the basses, and there isn't really a great place to breathe. You've got, and he shall purify, shall purify, and it just carries on, and it's a little bit relentless. So rather than taking a breath on the comma, I have suggested that you remove any one of those syllables, shall, pure, ri. You can take any one of those out for a breath. And then I've also taken out, in bar 29, I've also taken out the 3rd and 4th semiquavers for you to take an extra breath if you need it. So you can do one or both of these options. And he shall purify, shall the sons of Levi. You could also take out shall or ri in bar 27. So I took the pew out that time, but you can take shall or ri out. So I'll just give you an example of that. And he shall purify, the sons of Levi. So there's another option for you as a bass. So you've got 2 options to take breaths in there. Again, just make sure that your neighbours on either side aren't doing it in the same place, and nobody will ever know, I promise you. Coming up to soprano entry, so this is bar 29, 30. I'm just marking my accents on the 1st and the 3rd beats of the semiquavers, and I'm going to take out semiquavers 3 and 4 in letter C, which is bar 32. 1, 2. And he shall purify. I shall purify. Then you're all going to breathe nice and early, ideally on beat 4. 1, 2. And he shall purify. That way nobody will be late with the entry. So you've got one of those entries, instead of all the overlapping stuff that you've been doing, suddenly you've got an entry which is all in unison rhythmically. So what you don't want to do is have one person even breathing late just before the entry, and it will ruin the entry. So just breathing as soon as you've all finished. Purify. Breathe, breathe. And he shall purify. And you'll all be beautifully together. Now, at letter D, the tenors have a really stonking entry. So it's one of their longer entries coming up. And I have taken out, I've done 2 options here for taking breaths for the tenors. So letter D is at bar 41. And in bar 43, I've taken out the 3rd and 4th semiquavers, so beat 1, the 3rd and 4th semiquavers out of beat 1. And then in bar 44, I've taken out the same 2 semiquavers, so keeping the same pattern. So taking out semiquavers 3 and 4 from the first beat. So let's just see how that one goes. I'll do it down the octave. So breathing early. 1, 2. And he shall purify. The sons of Levi. So apologies for the vocal quality there. Tenor range is not my forte, but that was where I wanted you to practice taking the breath. So let's just do that one again. So breathing early. And he shall purify. The sons of Levi. So you might not need both of those options. You might just need one of them, or you can pick an alternate one. It doesn't matter. And again, just make sure that your friends at either side aren't breathing in exactly the same place, and nobody will ever know. Right, moving now to the altos. I'm looking now just where we got to, actually, bar 46. So the altos have their version of it. Shall purify, shall purify. And again, it's relentless, and it goes on and on and on and on. However, you can take a breath. You've got 2 options, actually. You can take a breath just after the page turn in my copy. So this is bar 48. You can take a breath after the first beat, or again in bar 49 after the first beat. So you shorten the first quaver to a semiquaver, and then allow yourself a semiquaver to take a breath if you need it. And then I've also removed, in the first group of semiquavers in bar 49, I've removed semiquavers 3 and 4 again. So I will give you some of those options now. You can practice whichever version of that you want to do. So breathing early. 1, 2, 3. Shall purify, shall purify, shall purify the sons of Levi. So that was me showing you all of the options for the breaths where you can take them. There's another option here when we get to the sons of Levi. If you needed to, if you didn't take a breath where you planned to earlier on, you can take any of those syllables out, the sons of Levi. So you can do the of Levi or the son Levi. So you can take a breath out by just removing a syllable. However, if you do that, don't attempt to put an S on anywhere. If you're removing a syllable, just get rid of the S. So don't try and sing the sons of Levi if you're taking a syllable out. Just get rid of the S on the end of sons. The of Levi. And then, gosh, we're at the end of this fabulous chorus. And this is my tip 5, which is such an important one for all singers. This is set really high, this last few bars, for the sopranos, for the tenors, for the basses as well. It's actually really high in the voice. The altos get off scot-free here. It's not so bad for you guys. So what you need to do, all of you other parts, is put all of those vowels in the R space. So you're singing R's, but thinking the printed vowel, and that will be enough to make the words sound right. But putting all your vowels into the R space. So what I say is sing R, think the correct vowel. So that means your mouth's going to be really nice and wide open. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Following your conductor, because they'll be highly delighted if you watch them at any point in Messiah. Often it's a sea of heads for the conductor because it is difficult music, but look up at your conductor whenever you can, because they will give you all those cut-offs hopefully that you need to keep it really tight and tidy. I hope you found that a useful video for Messiah, for that one chorus. There will be more to come. Happy singing, and thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and to like and to share the video with your choir mates. Happy singing, everyone. Bye.